Good afternoon and warm welcome to everybody on this very interesting session on ERP for manufacturing industry. We have an excellent panel of two highly experienced speakers who have vast experience in the industry as well as in digital transformation as well as ERP. Uh, without much further delay, let's get started. Uh, First and foremost, I'm very happy to introduce to you Mr. Ahmad Al Mulla. He is a board member of CIOMajilis. He is a digital transformation advisor. He's been a member of IDC and he's also headed e-governance authority as an executive vice president. He has extensive experience in digital transformation, advisory, supply chain strategy, automation, not just to ERP, but also going beyond ERP in the manufacturing sector. He has deep understanding of how business gets impacted by use or misuse of technology. So it will be very interesting to hear his perspective. He not just brings about perspectives on IT governance, IT strategy, and IT innovation, but also understands cybersecurity. So a very warm welcome, Ahmad, and looking forward to this session with you.
Thank you, Kumar. It's my pleasure to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. My next speaker for the day is Audeh Awartani. Audeh is also a very seasoned professional. He is the Chief Supply Chain Officer at the Suhail Industrial Holding Group. He's worked extensively across ERP and digital transformation, both across operations and strategy. And he understands strategy, corporate governance, supply chain management, ERP, lean manufacturing, as well as the finance, CRM, business process management aspects of IT. He's done several successful ERP implementations over 2.5 decades, brings in a lot of industry-specific knowledge and expertise in the manufacturing sector, and he's done a lot of business transformation projects. He works on both sides as an implementer of ERP as well as a consumer and a user of ERP. So he brings both sides of the story. Warm welcome, Audeh, and looking forward to this session with you.
My pleasure and my honor to be here.
Thank you both, and audience, once again, big welcome. We will be answering your questions as we go along a little later in the session. So please feel free to add your questions into the chat box that is available on your screen. We will try to take up as many questions as possible towards the second half of the session. Let me get started with our discussion today, right? We've had lots and lots of disruptions worldwide in the last 2.5, 3 years. There's been global economic disruptions like COVID, presently the war in Ukraine, hyperinflation caused because of supply chain disruptions, and this is leading to a lot of fluctuation in oil prices. These are just few examples, right? Last 2-3 years have been extremely disruptive, especially to manufacturing companies who are now sourcing raw material and semi-finished goods globally. The Middle East has also been deeply affected by this, all these shocks. Not just the oil shocks, but the potential of recession in the Western markets. Recent years, some countries have also launched very ambitious programs to scale up manufacturing as a sector. The idea is to diversify the economy and reduce dependency on oil. This is good. Because this brings in a completely different level of inputs into the economy. At the same time, how can this work if technology is not used, right? Without digital technology and transformation, can you keep scaling up manufacturing to the level to make it a world-class industry? These are some of the questions everybody's asking themselves, right? All these leads to a question, right? What should be my way to scale up my manufacturing industry, make it more efficient, more profitable, etc., etc. How will technology help me? What kind of technology will help me? Should I be looking at a very generic solution? Should I be looking at a specific solution? Should I be integrating Industry 4.0? How will it help me? Will my technology backbone support me in this journey? So many questions and so many more questions as well, right? I'm sure you will be asking them some more questions as we go along. So without much further delay, let's get started on the conversation, right? My first question is, of course, what are the major challenges and opportunities, right? Challenge and opportunities go side by side. What is the challenge for one person would be an opportunity for another. Especially for the manufacturing industry, what are the challenges and opportunities? How can manufacturers leverage technology? Ahmad, would you take this up? You have especially worked extensively in this area.
Thank you, Kumar. And I just want to, first of all, ladies, my pleasure and honor to be here. I think what you said earlier about the last 2-3 years with the pandemic, I think probably what we learned in the last 2-3 years is more than what we have learned the last 2-3 decades altogether. And I think that is, I'm a very positive person. I like to take things from the positive side. So if we look over the past couple of decades, there is in manufacturing sectors, as a result of a lot of advancement in supply chain, markets, customer requirements, engineering designs, and so on, from raw materials to semi-finished products to final products and so on, has been at the center of the global growth. So a lot of advancement has happened in the manufacturing. This also has created a lot of competition, and as a result of competition and also regulation, a lot of challenges have been always there. Let me just name some of the major challenges. If I list all the challenges, it will probably take me ages, but some of the major well-known challenges that I have seen and still remains a challenge is things like demand forecasting, and production scheduling and so on. A skilled labor gap. There will always be a gap in the skilled labor, especially with the advancement of technology and so on. Waste management and environmental issues, with regulations changing and so on, becomes much more difficult to deal with waste. Increasing production plant efficiency. Effectiveness is a must, but without efficiency, you cannot survive. Supply chain disruptions and changes caused by the pandemic. I think everybody knows that, lived that, so I don't want to talk about it. Confronting technological changes. Technology today keeps coming, so how are we going to confront, how are we going to use them? It's in itself is a challenge. And inventory management is the all-time challenge of all manufacturing. Yeah. Now, with this comes opportunities as well. So Industry 4.0, namely, has come up with a lot of opportunities that people can take advantage of. However, I want to say that opportunities in themselves are also risks. If you really don't capitalize on the opportunities, your competitors will do. So you need to look at them from both aspects as well. Technologies today provide a lot of things. IoT, for example, enables interconnection of devices, provides you, timely information that you couldn't really get before, accurate information instead of having, manual collection and so on. This is one technology that really helps a lot. Manufacturing intelligence has improved a lot over the last so many years. So today, with gathering data from sensors, actuators, you really get a full sort of view of what is happening in the manufacturing process. One thing I forgot to tell you about, maybe an interesting study was done by the MPI group regarding the use of IoT, because IoT is a little bit of a tricky thing, because a lot of people think IoT is basically just a fad, something came up. But interestingly enough, with the study done by MPI, showed that nearly 1/3, 31% of production processes now incorporate smart devices and embedded intelligence. 34% of manufacturers have plans to incorporate IoT technology in their processes. And the most interesting part is that 32% plan to embed IoT technology in their final products. So, which is very good, which can be used by themselves as well as by their customers. Manufacturing using predictive analytics. In the past, we used to look at historical data and so on. Today, there is a lot of predictive analytics that is available in the market. And if anybody wants details, we can talk about it maybe later. Production quality control. Quality control was always a big issue. Today, there is a lot of software that help you, with quality control in terms of, for example, in terms of waste. So you really get to near zero waste, zero incidents when it comes to safety, and zero emissions, which helps environmental issues. Integrated scheduling and operations execution. Scheduling, for me, scheduling was always the most difficult part of any manufacturing. Production scheduling. Today, there is a lot of software that can help you, and a lot of solutions that help you in that. Advanced analytics and visualization. Manufacturers will be able to use modern dashboards, observe many facilities in a single perspective. So you really get an integrated view of what is happening on the shop floor and so on. And last but not least, monitoring of the manufacturing network. So you can anticipate issues, basically being proactive and taking corrective measures before anything happens. This really saves you a lot of time. So you really minimize, downtime basically, or actually should have zero downtime. So that's in a nutshell, Kumar, that I will talk about challenges and opportunities.
Yep. Thanks, Ahmed. Lots of very, very important points, right? And I'm sure as we go along, some of these we will drill down a little more if time permits, and if people are interested in specific areas, we'll be happy to answer as well. I'll pick up just one aspect here, right? Inventory and supply chain. You mentioned about planning as being scheduling and planning as being very, very critical. And one key input to planning and scheduling, of course, is inventory and how to manage the supply chain, right? All the planning in the world will not work if supply chain is disrupted or inventory is, wrongly planned. So, Audeh, that brings me to you. You have a lot of experience in this area, and you have used a lot of technology to solve problems in this space. So, can you just talk a little bit about both the impact of inventory, how it can affect profitability or lack of profitability of a manufacturing company, and how we can do better in this case?
Thank you, Kumar, for this interesting event. I'll start. My approach in this event will be talking about the practical side of the story. I will not talk about theories. I will not go from a consulting background. I will use the practical background because we need to convince the people by practical approach. Now, in manufacturing, inventory is the biggest burden for the companies, especially when you talk about fluctuating prices in raw materials and raw material with expiry dates, raw material with obsolete designs, or and so on. So inventory can make or break the manufacturing companies simply because the over inventory will kill you, and the under inventory as well will kill you. So the game is changing. The game is changing. 20 years back, ERP systems were a kind of cosmetic things for companies. I remember in the year 1999, 2000, when you used to talk to any client about ERP system, you would find some resistance to accept that kind of systems, especially in this part of the world, in the Middle East. Now, it's not a cosmetic, it's the core of the company. Without it, you will not survive. So inventory, back to inventory, without a proper inventory planning, you will end up with a burden in the company, either by losing the sales opportunities or by having overestimated raw material with no value. So it's a matter of just-in-time raw material, when to buy and how to buy, and the cost. And this is the trick, as simple as this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think technology can make this so much simpler, right? Doing this on an Excel sheet, I think it's humanly impossible now.
Doing this on Excel sheet,
Yeah.
we used to face many people saying we can do this on Excel sheet, no need for ERP. I'm sorry to tell them now, you are out of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially so many changes, right? Even not just about excess inventory. You see now containers suddenly became impossible to get about 10 months ago. And how can you plan for this? How can you optimize if you don't use technology? Very, very interesting point. Absolutely. We will come back to this if we have time. Very interesting. Ahmad, you mentioned one interesting point around IoT, right? And that it can help you and it can make things better for you. So, shop floor integration with ERP can make a big difference, right? And that is a fundamental reason IoT can actually help with digital transformation accelerate it, right? Can you just talk about this? And I think you have also a lot of personal experience in this space, so it'll be interesting to hear about this.
Yeah. So yeah, IoTs, of course, when you have IoTs, you basically, basically you have sensors and things that give you information from from where you want the information in a specific, as it happens, basically. So you have it timely, and you basically feed it into your ERP system, and then you have everything connected. You have all the information available to you at the same time, so you can really make informed decision, basically, even within the ERP, because you have all the inputs at a right and timely manner. How much can you deploy these? And this is a question I always get asked. Do basically IoTs provide everything? No, at this moment in time, they might not provide everything, but they provide you with a lot of things that you can have it today. So, if you don't have, imagine if you don't have sensors today and you don't have IoTs, you will have to enter all these information manual, right? This really this will really have a big effect in your in your efficiency, basically, and even effectiveness. So this is where IoTs come in the picture. Now, when it comes to an ERP, realistically, you really want all these to really feed into a much bigger system that does everything for you, right? So you need an ERP system that helps you with the turnaround time of finished goods. You need to streamline the full process. You need to connect all the workflows and all the inputs that you need into one system that has your inventory or finance, your delivery process, and so on. So you have really somewhere where you're housing all the information and you have all the process in it. And this is where an ERP comes into the picture, Kumar. So for example, an ERP allows you to generate all the bill of materials at multiple levels that can be configured in the production process, involve multiple routes, specific sets of instruction in each route. IoTs will help in such a process as well. It will also, in ERP, will help also you basically augment your work proficiency of your shop floor workers. Shop floor workers basically can then get, better instructions, get better step-by-step things to do. So if you by splitting a bill of material into a step-by-step operation, which is basically is called routing or routing, depends which accent you like. So production teams on the shop floor know exactly what to do and when to do it, and can better focus on every step involved in manufacturing a finished part or assembly. An ERP software for manufacturing helps production teams and managers spot and solve shop floor and assembly line problems, besides identifying the progress of the manufacturing process by end of the day. Moreover, when your shop floor workers have complete information about each and every step of the production or assembly process, they can easily execute it, and it makes and make changes and when needed to achieve finished goods at the lowest cost. The chances of errors and subjective things, they basically disappear.
Yeah.
So that is the benefit of having an ERP with all these connected let's say dots where information come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that logically kind of leads me to my next question. Audeh, this is for you. What are the things that you need to consider when you're selecting an ERP? Suppose I am a manufacturer and I'm starting my journey for the first time, my digital journey. What should I look for? What kind of features are must have, and what features what maybe like something like a bit of a checklist or something that I need to keep in mind.
First of all, I would say to the traditional manufacturers, the game is really changing, and there is no place for traditional manufacturers anymore. You have to go with the latest Industry 4.0 concepts, like now we are talking about 3D printing, we are talking about IoT, RFID, mobile technology, cloud, machine-to-machine talking, and robotics. So if you still believe that you can survive without a robust ERP system, then you have a problem. When you select the ERP system, first of all, you need to know that this ERP system can fulfill your requirements, whether it's a generic or a vertical solution. Now, a vertical solution has too many benefits, and generic ERP has some benefits as well. But you need to go with specific criteria to select the ERP where, number one, I'm talking here about manufacturing, which is the core for the core module for manufacturers. You have to make sure that it can give you the built-in processes and terminology that matches your industry. This is number one. Don't waste your time customizing out of the box ERP system and doing hundreds of customizations to match the terminology. Look for a vertical solution that can help you straight away. Number two, you need to look for the planning tools and communication tools that fulfill your reporting requirements. Reporting is everything. Reporting is everything. Data entry can be done in all systems, but BI tools is the game changer. So this is in short, what are the criteria you need to look for in manufacturing ERPs. Don't look for support functions and support finance and HR, because this is something this comes in at the end of the implementation. It is not your core. This is this is from a practical point of view. Other people might say no. Let's go for the brand. Brand 1, brand 2, brand 3 in the market are Mercedes. We have to go with Mercedes. No, it's not a matter of Mercedes. No.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that is a very, very valid point. So Ahmad, that brings logically to my next question. The word generic versus vertical specific has been used a couple of times already, and we have seen both and done implementations across both these. Can you just kind of compare and contrast what is the advantages, what are the challenges, and what should we look for?
Okay. It is always a dilemma, right? Whether I use a generic ERP or I use a more of a specific, ERP for my own domain. For example, here in the manufacturing domain. So let's really put it in the right perspective. So generic ERPs come with some advantages. They come with basically generic processes that are there. And it has been proven there for most of the let's say the general and the basic functions like finance and human capital and so on. However, really the generic ERPs, you really can't use it for manufacturing easily. So I'm not saying you cannot use it. You can use it, but to use it, you really need to do several things. I mean, in most of the cases, if not all, you certainly need to customize it. So generic ERPs don't come, for example, when we talked about the challenges in manufacturing, I think Mr. Audeh also mentioned inventory is one of the key challenges, right? So generic ERPs don't really come with very good inventory modules. So you really need either to customize them so much, or probably go for, a best of breed or a specific solution for manufacturing. So generally speaking, generic ERPs with customizations, it means a lot of cost, a lot of complexity, and a lot of maintenance costs as well. So later when you want to upgrade, it becomes really tough luck. And here when I'm talking about customization, I'm talking about hard customization, not soft customization, not parameter changing, right? Yeah. So that is one difference. The other difference is, industry specific ERPs basically come with all the functions that you need at the shop floor. So all these are basically is a big advantage that you can use. My take on this is really is what is your core business? If your core business is manufacturing, I really go for a specific vertical solution for manufacturing, because it comes with other modules, finance, HR, procurement, and so on, which comes part of it, integrated fully with it. If your core business is something else, then you really go for that else. So you have really three possibilities here. One possibility, I'll go for generic ERP and I customize it, which I honestly do not recommend. The bill will become very big. If you can afford, if you need 3 stories to host your people and you go and buy a 30-story tower, if you have the money, by all means, go and do it, right? So the second option is you go for a generic ERP and customize it. And then, and you might look for specific solutions for specific places. The third option is you go for a vertical solution, and then, and which provides you with everything. I would really go for when my core business is manufacturing, I will go for a core manufacturing ERP. That's what I would do.
Very, very valid point, and that's what I also observed. Many places.
Yeah. Just one thing, Kumar, I forgot to, because some of the arguments come today that the generic ERPs come in cloud and so on. Today everything is in cloud. You even have manufacturing ERPs in cloud. So
exactly.
Cloud is a technology question, which I am in love of cloud. So so that is not really the issue, right? You can still use the cloud. Which has a lot of advantages as well, because you really don't have to have your own infrastructure. You don't have to worry about things like security and all these. Well, you have to, but not to the same extent. And in terms of licensing and all these, you don't have to worry about it. You just you use as you you pay as per use and so on. So cloud is available on both sides. So cloud is not really the issue. The issue is, do I really get the functionality that I need to give me a competitive edge, to make me effective and efficient? I would really go for industry-specific ERP.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that answers the question very, very clearly. Audeh, coming back to one of the points that Ahmad was mentioning, right? Shop floor advantage, right, and inventory management. So, make to order or make to stock, or these business processes. How does digitization help manage these processes better? How does it make the whole transformation smooth as well as more efficient? Can you just talk about it? I think this is one area where you were mentioning that you can talk for hours. So maybe not hours, but few minutes if you can just summarize.
The biggest challenge in manufacturing is always the engineer to order scenario. The engineer to order scenario, where you have every production order is a special case, a special design, and a special requirement by the client. And if your ERP system cannot handle this, you will end up with thousands and thousands of bill of materials and routing sheets and costs and etc. Basic ERP or low-level ERP applications cannot fulfill this side. Or it can fulfill by giving you thousands of scenarios, which you can avoid by having a vertical solution that can play around. I can just name it for you. I have been through implementations where every minute you have a new bill of material. And if your system is not intelligent, you will spend your life defining bill of materials. Where make to stock is the easy way of manufacturing, where you just sell the system, where you just sell the product straight away. It's like Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola doesn't require any order to start manufacturing. So ERP system, if it can handle the engineer to order and make to order scenarios in a good way, it will give you a powerful tool that can help your industry. Now, capacity planning is another keyword. Capacity. If you ask 100 companies, do you know your capacity? 99 companies will give you a wrong answer, because routings are not defined properly. And ERP out of off-the-shelf ERP systems will give you always infinite capacity planning to avoid going in troubles. So planning and capacity and fulfilling the engineer to order scenario for me are three keywords when I select my system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it can handle the complexity, then it can scale with, as your company grows, your ERP will also be able to support your growth. Very, very valid point. And I think we have seen the world where, infinite customization is becoming the buzzword, right? People want a customized car, they want a customized apartment, they want to customize everything. So engineer to order is going to be the order of the day. I think that's how it's looking like. Uh, thank you so much. Ahmad, just coming back to that point which you were mentioning earlier, very briefly, touching upon. I think you already spoke about IoT, but just how does IoT working with ERP make things better? Maybe just a quick 2 minutes on saying, how ERP and IoT help improve profitability, efficiency, reduce downtime, and so on. I think just want to quickly reiterate because this is where the business is heading and this is where the industry is heading.
Okay, so I think we mentioned earlier. So if we look at IoT, if we look at Industry 4.0, IoT is probably one of the first pillar, right? The first, the first part of when we come to using Industry 4.0. Now, IoT should be supported by ERP systems. So ERP systems should be able to connect with IoT. It's basically an integration point for Industry 4.0 and ERP. So unfortunately today, I don't want to unfortunately, but historically, the practice is that, most cases, data from manufacturing, warehouses, production planning, distribution, quality control, processes, environmental data, whatever, all sources are entered manually in ERP systems. The use of IoT will help automatically enter this data into ERP system. So it's really seamless. However, the ERP has to support that, right? So it has to support the collection of data from IoTs, different production sources, different areas, and so on. So this will have the effect of eliminating data entry errors, which in manufacturing is really a blessing. I mean, it's a dream that you really don't have any data entry errors. You can do some validation, but you cannot really when it's manual, you can do some validation, but you cannot eliminate, right? Mm-hmm. So entering data through the use of IoT equipment would also help in changing the approach to ERP systems. So you really try to look at it in a totally different way. You can really utilize it in a much better way. So this is when it comes to IoT.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think essentially we are talking about shop floor to top floor and how the information can flow without getting stuck anywhere. I think this will make a big difference.
So Kumar, just to add on this, so if you are using Industry 4.0, there are some demands on your ERP that has to be able to become the backbone to the network, right? Yeah. So your ERP has to be able to connect all the smart machine, the logistics system, the production facilities, the sensors, devices. That capability has to be there in the ERP, right? So so that is something that, and then what is happening today, you can see that vendors are moving away from pre-built interfaces and formulas to develop highly connected systems. So basically, in a nutshell, I will just say you have a manufacturing ecosystem, right? That is automatically connected to your backbone.
Absolutely. And I think once it's all connected, then you can do all kinds of analysis, optimization, improvement. There is no limit to that.
Right. So just one last word I want to say. Sorry, I'm taking time here. People who are in manufacturing, they know the pain of OEMs, right? Yep. So IoTs and all these help you a lot actually going, with this pain that OEMs bring about. Yeah.
I've faced that, so I agree.
Okay.
Audeh, Ahmad was talking about cloud. So this. You have any perspective to have cloud on premise? What do you suggest? Some kind of hybrid solution? What has been your experience, just from a personal experience perspective?
As I said, the world is changing. At the beginning, when the cloud thing came into the picture, I was against it personally. I was a big fan on the on-premise scenario. But many shortcomings will come with the on-premise now. Now, a cloud will give you the flexibility, will give you the security, will give you the multi-site implementation very easily, and it will cut all the burden, cost of IT, cost of administration, etc., etc. It's very well known now for everybody that cloud is the future. The on-premise scenario now is something like the old technology or the old implementation approach.
Mhm.
It will, in my opinion, it will be obsolete very soon in the market. Everything now is outsourced, including the system itself. So the future is for the cloud.
Yeah, and I think network and bandwidth is becoming cheaper and cheaper, and not just cheaper, but more and more freely available, right? So maybe a quick 2 minutes from both of you on return on investment, right? End of the day, it is a decent sized investment for any IT company, any manufacturing company. Investing in an ERP is probably one of their large technological investments that they'll make in any given year, or maybe even in any given 3-year horizon. ERP could be their big investment. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about ROI, then after that, Ahmad, you can also talk a little bit about what do I look at? How do I get my return on investment? What are the key things to keep in mind? So, Audeh, you want to just talk a little bit, and then I'll go to Ahmad as well. Yeah.
Okay, now, so for the ROI, I believe when you do a simple calculation for the cost of your manual processes and the number of staff in departments and all kinds of overhead in your company, and compare it with the benefits of having a robust ERP system, any person can give you the result. Investment in ERP will give you not only the cost reduction, but it will give you many advantages to the business. For a small example, I'll give you an example of reporting tools that ERP can tell you. One BI tool can, in my opinion, give you a benefit of 100 accountants working in a reporting department.
Yeah.
This is, Kumar. Now this is very clear in the field. The people who used to resist have no place anymore. The world is changing, technology is changing, manual processes are obsolete. As simple as this. I will not talk more.
Yeah. Okay. Ahmad, you want to add anything to this?
Yeah. I think Audeh said a lot of benefits surely, but I think with industry specific ERP, you have a better fit for your processes, right? For the shop floor, that basically doesn't bring any overhead, right? For example, if you really want to have with industry specific ERP, your process straightforward, and instead of going like as we go and sometimes in circles or additional steps and so on. So that's one advantage. The other advantage is the automation, right? So with automation, especially with the existence of IoTs and Industry 4.0, you basically things are running smoothly automatically. There is a lot less pressure on labor, and you probably will reduce a lot into the manpower cost. In addition, I think with the visibility that the systems provide, decision making becomes much easier and becomes timely decision making, because you have access to information and you have a dashboard, and you see a full picture of things. So decision making is faster. And I want to add really one last thing, which is the cloud advantage. So cloud advantage comes in a lot of ways, right? So one way is that the hardware, so you don't really have to have any hardware. All of this is basically today a commodity. It's hosted by the system provider. And also when it comes even to number of users and all these, so you're a bit agile, and you actually pay for, you increase the number of users, reduce number of users, and so on. So you don't have to worry about buying new licensing and so on. And really, it should be you are paying for what you are using. When you buy a a generic ERP and you put it in your own background, you probably buy a lot of solutions and so on. All the things to do with backup, managing all these, actually headache is also gone. So I think there is a lot of advantage, with all these together.
Yeah, and I think a couple of things also I have noticed that people are able to quantify, but it is also very much a big cost is cost of compliance, right? Regulatory compliance, safety compliance, environmental compliance. If you have a digital system, it becomes default. But if it's not there, you need a person, you need an inspector, you need supervisors, you need someone to maintain all that.
Absolutely.
Most people don't realize how big a cost that is. And only when they digitize it, they realize it becomes so much easier and simpler, and you can run audit reports anytime and so on. And
Kumar, I can elaborate for 1 minute on this point. I used to do implementations before, very traditional implementations, but now we have machine to machine talking to the ERP system, CNC machines, robots. So traditional implementations now are obsolete. Simply. So the benefits of ERP and the ROI, by all means, it is justified.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Looks like we're starting to get a lot of questions from the audience. So maybe I'll stop our discussion here and pick up some of the audience questions. There's one question from Chaitanya from Kimji. He's asking list of ERP vendors. I think there are quite a few vendors. They're big list. But for manufacturing, I think maybe there is a smaller subset we can talk about, like SAP or Oracle or Epic or ERP, which we have found a very, very good fit for manufacturing. It comes with all the scenarios that we have talked about today built in, and you can do advanced planning and so on. So that is the main thing you need to look for, right? I'm just trying to summarize what we have heard in the last 40 minutes. Look at what you are wanting and then look for the ERP. Don't look for the name first and then try to fit the process, because that will always result in a big challenge. The next question is from Farin. Farin is asking, can we expand the industry-specific solution in the future with additional modules? What if we add a new business process or something like that? Who would like to take this question?
I can answer this one.
Yeah.
I had the chance to work on a hospitality ERP system as a vertical solution attached to a very famous ERP system in the market. Now, this hospitality module was developed over years. Now it's something very, very, very powerful at the moment, where most of the famous hotel chains are using in the world. So it started with a very basic back office system that is working with one of the ERP systems. Now it can work in most of the hotels. So vertical solutions will continue to develop if you have the reliable vendor.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Very valid point. Thank you. This next question is from Kritika. I think we already discussed about this. I'll just mention the question because it says, what is the effect of ROI after implementing an industry vertical solution for manufacturing? I think we already spoke about this at length. There are several factors which help in a faster or better ROI using a vertical solution. I think we spoke at length, so we can skip that. But I think the next question is from Deepika. She's asking, how does an industry-specific solution help in minimizing the risk related with inventory management? So, Ahmad, do you want to talk about this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think when it comes to when you have an industry-specific solution, you have the full visibility on your full supply chain. So, of course, let me qualify what I want to say so that people. Of course, when we say what a solution can do, you have to implement it in the right way as well. you have to have the right partner to implement it for you. But the technology, the industry-specific ERPs provide you a full visibility on your supply chain. So how it manages to basically, ensure efficiency and risk in terms of inventory, since you have visibility, your reorder point, anything that happens in the supply chain and all these will immediately get highlighted into your system. So you need to take an action before really you come and realize that you don't have enough inventory or you're running off a spare part or whatever. So that full visibility across supply chain is what a good implementation of the industry-specific ERP provides you. So basically, in a nutshell, the ERP can provide you with what you need to manage these risks. How you implement it and how you are using the information, type of information, is a critical in addressing the risks, basically.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I have seen some very, very interesting requests in a make to order or an engineer to order company recently also, just to highlight specifically what you said, right? They do a engineer to order solution where from steel fabrication, and what you actually finally load in the container can be slightly more or slightly less than the customer. If it's more, it's okay. They just have to invoice for what the customer is asking. But if it's less, it's not okay, because the customer is going to be very upset. So if you do not have a properly integrated system at the gate when the truck is leaving the compound, you can have all kinds of problems with your customers. So this is very difficult to manage if you don't have technology. I realize. I mean, especially if you're a large manufacturer and you have hundreds of trucks leaving your compound every day. So I think this can reduce your risk of losing a customer also. It's not just about a little difference of a few small amount here and there, but it's also about happiness and customer satisfaction.
Yeah. Actually, Kumar, what I have seen from my experience is that in the absence of the full visibility, people tend to stock a lot more inventory, which is actually it's locked in capital.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies do that, unfortunately. Of course, it's always highlighted when you don't have something and you cannot produce because an item is missing or whatever. But reality is the biggest cause for most companies is actually let me say over inventory. And annually companies basically dispose a lot of inventory because they become useless, or especially spare parts and all this. So having proper visibility helps you in that, and of course helps you in ensuring that you really deliver to your customer as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
This is this next question is I don't have a name here. It says anonymous, but how quickly can manufacturing business be up and running with the industry-specific ERP solution? I think, Audeh, you are actually in the middle of something very complex right now, so maybe you can talk about this a little bit. I know you have been going to different manufacturing sites and setting up a multi-site solution, so maybe you can answer this one.
Can you repeat the question again?
How quickly can a manufacturing business be up and running with an industry-specific solution, right? Do you save time?
Excellent.
What is the approximate time? I know it's a very
Excellent.
broad question, but maybe you can.
Yeah, definitely it will be much faster than a generic ERP implementation, and with a multiple of good results. Industry, I'll be back to the hospitality product that I worked with. We used to do the copy and paste implementations in weeks. Just imagine.
Yeah.
You go to the client with a ready-made setup that is implemented in North America and in the Far East. So it's out of the box thing. Once you do it and you roll over, it will be very quick implementation. Compared to something you built from scratch, definitely it will be cost effective and time effective as well.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think in a kind of mid-size setup, I am noticing nowadays less than 6 months is becoming very, very practical, even if it's a very complex manufacturing plant, which was very different maybe 5-10 years ago. If it's a complex manufacturing setup, it will be a big project with a big committee and a steering committee and so on. But things have changed a lot. So,
You know, Kumar, I talked about hospitality, but I'll be back to manufacturing.
yeah,
Manufacturing, I have been in a big manufacturing implementation a few years back. We spent months and months trying to customize the ERP system to meet our requirements, and we ended up with a big gap, really big gap between what we need and what we had. Now, by looking at the market again and search for vertical systems, we discovered that there are some solutions that will be very effective if we used instead of that generic solution.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, One last question. We have, just a few minutes left. So this is, Ahmad, maybe because you touched upon IoT, if you could just take this question, uh, will an ERP work with AI, especially in forecasting of demand, inventory, sales? The forecasting planning using AI is probably a very good case for you AI. Does that work with an ERP? Are there ERPs who can do that?
Yeah, well, it better work with it, right? So I think yes, it works. Actually, AI is at the heart of manufacturing nowadays, and all ERPs should work with all elements of IoT, AI being one of them. Yes, surely it should work. Why should it not work? I think if you really, when you want to evaluate an ERP system, you better look whether it works with AI and not or not. So AI is still, in my opinion, is still yes, being used, but not to the extent that it can be embedded fully. So there are a lot of initiatives in AI for sure, but I think this is a next generation opportunity when it comes to manufacturing. But the technology today is mostly basically open and can connect to any of the AI, machine learning, whatever you call it, you name it, it's there. So I think it should work. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
especially when it comes to forecasting, I mean, but of course, every AI works on how smart your algorithm is, right? So you
Yeah,
need to really work on the algorithm very well, and then you can gain advantage. So why not?
yeah, yeah. So this question was from Pradeep. Pradeep, I hope this answers your question. With this, we are done with this. The questions from the audience. We have one question which was not answered earlier. Which I'll maybe take a couple of minutes just to talk about it. What are the out of the box features that help, right? And we got a question specifically on AI. We got a question on inventory management. We got a question on supply chain. So a good solution will bring all of these together, right? So if you have an industry vertical solution which addresses not just specific aspects, but starting all the way from your planning, demand management, your inventory optimization, your manufacturing process, your MRP run, your MRP planning, your long term, medium term, and short term planning, your daily MRP plan, and your MRP run, your industrial asset management. There are so many things we did not have time to talk about today, right? A good solution will bring all of these aspects together and ensure that you have a seamless operation. And it's not just seamless in terms of planning and execution, but also in terms of further improvement, refinement, and discovering ways to save money, make more money, by either saving inventory costs or by reducing failures, by doing proactive maintenance, and so on and so forth. Same way, if you have a process manufacturing industry, the ability to manage, I think in the very early part of the conversation, we talked about raw materials with expiry dates, the ability to manage lots so that, the first expiring lot is consumed first in terms of your raw material inventory. Tracking shelf life, is there any specific storage specification for some of your raw material? Can my ERP keep track of that? Do I have IoT devices that can pull this information together? There are so many things that we can talk about. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so I would say that we stop here, and we will look forward to having more conversations with you in the coming days. Please stay in touch. Big thank you, uh, Ahmad, as well as Audeh, for a very, very interesting conversation today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll be happy. We also have, free courses in ERP project management. If you write to us, we'll be happy to enroll you. Thank you very much, Ahmad. Thank you, Audeh. It was a pleasure having you today, and look forward to talking to you again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And have
Thank
a good
you.
day, everybody.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.